He's one of the 7 migrants arrested for the cop beatdown. So let me get this straight. He strolls across the border, was given free shelter, beat up cops, and suffered no consequences. And this is how he thanks us. And his other cop beating buddies were just as gracious. Seen blowing kisses and smiling after they left court.
Look, I think that the battle line right now, Laura, is we're in the middle of a war in this country between a majority of us in this nation who love our country and our basic shared values, and a fringe minority who has the Democratic Party in a chokehold, who hate the United States of America and everything we stand for.
The lunatics are running the asylum. Welcome back to One and Done. Can you believe these ungrateful thugs? Now, if they have the confidence and the audacity to go around slapping cops around, what are they going to do to you? Let's jump into these videos from Fox and find out what's going on. Let's unpack this together, see if we can find some solutions. And solving world problems is just the 9 to 5 here at One and Done. Let's roll the tape.
The picture that sums up all the madness in our country. One of the illegals who wailed on 2 NYPD officers in Times Square and got no bail, flipping not 1, but 2 birds as he walked out of court. The 22-year-old illegal giving 2 middle fingers to the country that welcomed him in. He's one of the 7 migrants arrested for the cop beatdown. So let me get this straight. He strolls across the border, was given free shelter, beat up cops, and suffered no consequences. And this is how he thanks us. And his other cop beating buddies were just as gracious. Seen blowing kisses and smiling after they left court.
Damn.
And there was another delightful bird sighting. But it looks like liberal leaders are done being embarrassed by the ungrateful illegals. New York Governor Kathy Hochul and New York City Mayor Eric Adams are ready to send these bird-flipping migrants south for the winter.
These woke liberal politicians finally coming out now. It's not that difficult to work out. This is why they're having trouble having local communities have these people in their homes. Just think about it. You've invited these people across the border into the US and now you're acting surprised. This is what you wanted. And I hate to say it, but you're getting what you deserved. You're not showing leadership, you're whimpering to the woke mob, or you have a sinister agenda. One of the two, I'm not sure.
In response to police searching for additional suspects in the Times Square attack on police.
Get them all and send them back.
All right,
You don't touch our police officers. You don't touch anybody.
Those who are breaking our laws, we need to re-examine the laws that don't allow us to deport them.
But some have already flown the coop.
You need to re-examine them. You failed in the first place. The fact that you have to re-examine something, you're not leading from the front, crying on behalf of illegal immigrants, migrants, criticizing Texas and Arizona, and to no one's surprise, you can't wait to get rid of them because they're causing you a hindrance. And it's only a fraction of the numbers that other border states have had to deal with.
New York Post reporting police believe 4 of the criminals have already hopped on a bus to California. They allegedly gave fake names to a nonprofit that helps migrants get out of the city. Judge Janine, if you were representing one of these illegals, would you recommend the double bird?
Well, let me tell you this. If I were representing them, it would be in my next life.
I was going to say, it would be a cold day and you know where.
Let me just put it this way. You're talking about flipping the bird, the middle finger. The mayor, the DA, the president, and the governor are all flipping us the middle finger. And I'll tell you why. The first problem is Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg didn't ask for any bail. These are Class C violent felonies. You can get bail. He didn't ask for bail. I want to know why. Number 2, why didn't Alvin Bragg put this case in the grand jury so they could have been arraigned in Superior Court and had bail set, and then they wouldn't have gone to California? That's where Alvin Bragg screwed up. Then you got Governor Hochul. Governor Hochul says, yeah, now it's a good idea after a reporter asked her. What I want to hear from the governor is this. I'm putting it in my governor's legislative package, and I want the legislature to vote on deportation, okay? The mayor is a former cop. I don't want to hear him just talking and talking. What he's got to do is call the DA and say, what are you doing and why are you not asking for bail? And in addition to that, the mayor should be headlining an effort to make the assault of a police officer an offense for which they can call in ICE. because New York is a sanctuary city, you can only call in ICE on certain crimes. If the mayor really meant what he's saying, he could say, today, I want the council to change and include assault on a police officer. That's a fix there.
Right.
Now, the problem with Joe Biden and his giving us the middle finger is the border. And Texas has just proved it. Since the end of January, Texas, because of its border and because of what they're doing to prevent them from coming in, they've got a huge drop in immigration, and it's all coming in now through Arizona and California. And let me say one more thing about this. These, I don't even want to call them people because they're not people. These people come here and they say they want asylum, and we suckers believe it. They don't respect authority. They take authority down. One of the other ones we didn't know about yesterday was charged with resisting arrest. He pushed a cop last time a cop arrested him, in addition to their beating down the arrest. So I'm sick and tired of hearing this nonsense. They traveled 3,000 miles through the Darien Gap. It's one of the most dangerous places in the world because they want to be part of the American dream. Baloney. They don't want to be part of the American dream. They don't want to swear allegiance. They don't show up for their asylum hearing. And 85% of them who do don't get asylum.
Now, Judge Janine, she is just hitting facts after facts there. Yeah, very interesting that Texas borders are more secure now that they've put the barbed wire up. Yet Joe Biden wants to fight that. He's suing Texas? Whose side are you on, bruh? Now, I want to hear in the comments from all you leftoids out there, please jump in there and explain to me. Let me know what the hell is going on. What's the agenda? What is Joe Biden trying to achieve? And lastly, is this something that you support and that you want? You want your streets to be filled with migrants that are disrespecting law and order? That are assaulting police officers and people? Citizens, taxpayers, elderly. Come on, stand by these policies. Jump in the comments and let me know what is going on in your heads.
Richard, why won't Democrats deport people like this?
I think they're trying to.
What do you mean they're trying to?
Listen, I'm going to tell you why. I mean, look, I agree with everything the judge says.
Again.
And we agree. Hey, listen. But here's what we know to be true. If you talk to the folks in Senator Kristen Sinema's office, which she briefed the press a couple of days ago, there's a border bill that the Democrats and Republicans are working to get done that would secure the border. It would end folks who cross. If you cross illegally, you would go immediately to jail.
And that's a disingenuous bill. It's a bill filled with baloney. The Dems are putting it up front to the Republicans because it also has money for Ukraine. What the hell does the border have to do with Ukraine? Pass the border bill and vote separately on money for or funding for Ukraine.
And then you would be immediately deported. It would allow the federal government to buy planes to do faster deportations, right? It would hire more border personnel. It would increase the amount of immigration judges. So right now, if somebody's seeking asylum in this country and they get a notice to go to court, they don't see a judge until 2027. This bill would speed that up. Sadly, given all of that, we have folks in the House that say they're going to vote no on this just because.
But
and
Joe
that's
Biden
problematic.
is the one who got rid of Remain in Mexico. He got rid of Remain in Mexico.
To be
that
fair,
kept
I'll
them
give
in
you that.
Mexico.
I'll
You got to give me that.
But the judge also last week in South Carolina, the president said, "Let's secure this border and let's pass this bill right now."
He doesn't need Congress. He can do it himself, Richard.
But why not have Congress do it?
They don't need to. He can shut it down.
To buy more planes?
He can shut it down.
To hire more
right
judges?
now, Richard.
I don't know who you are, Richard, but you're looking absolutely stupid and you just got smoked. Step aside and let the adults talk.
Pretty flying.
To hire more border patrol?
I love that
He
photo.
can shut it
though.
down whenever he wants.
I love that photo. Can we put that up there again? The one that we just had.
There we
That
go.
is a great photo. And I love that we blurred the finger. I think we can handle it, you know. It's not like we're trying to protect the identity of his middle finger. It's not like his finger's underage. I mean, it's true. It's like I think it's important to see the reality of this situation, right? If a picture's worth 1,000 words, that one is worth 10 million. And it's an old adage in television, if you want to see the truth, turn the sound off. I do that with Jesse's show. When you take away all the ranting and the raving and the politics and the grandstanding and the shrieking, you have one singular photo that tells you everything about the basic nature of human behavior. That is, they disrespect you because they can. They disrespect you because you're weak. What you're seeing right there is how far we've gone down this path.
And speaking of disrespect, there's one person that's disrespecting 330 million people, and that's that sleepy Jim Crow Joe Biden, head of the Biden crime family. You know the one? He's sticking both fingers up in your faces, and I wouldn't tolerate that. I would not tolerate that.
There's no disincentives. There's no consequences. It's the land of the free for criminals. The American dream is America reamed when these people come here. And I do think, the busing of the migrants to the sanctuary cities was a brilliant move. The next step is transporting any illegal with a record to the neighborhood of the elites who support these policies, because something tells me these migrants won't be trimming your hedges or doing your dishes.
Dana.
Well, one thing about these guys that escaped, I think it will turn out to be 5 of them, and they used false IDs to get on the buses. So there's another crime. And also, they said they're going to California. Anyone believe they're going to make it all the way to California? So now they're going to be in some other place. Welcome to Middle America. And now they've got a problem. Hopefully, they will be too dumb to get off in a sanctuary state or sanctuary city, and they could call ICE where they could be deported. Unless you think that Joe Biden's the only problem on the border, today, 150 House Democrats voted against deporting illegal immigrants who commit DUIs. So
they voted against that
150
today?
Democrats voted against that today. Now, maybe there's something else in the bill, et cetera, but over and over, Republicans are putting them on record as to what they want and what they believe.
Okay. And if we're going to put anything on record, my show is pretty good with the volume down. Watch it anyway.
You still get the rating.
That's right.
Yeah, because you.
Now, I couldn't take any more of that nonsense. I don't know about you, but these politicians, they disrespect you. They honestly do. And you should give them the respect that they deserve. Give them the no thanks vote. Now, I had enough of that nonsense. Whenever we need a little bit of sanity, there's one person we can rely on. And here he is, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, it seems like everything is upside down in Joe Biden's America.
Look, I think that the battle line right now, Laura, is we're in the middle of a war in this country between a majority of us in this nation who love our country and our basic shared values, and a fringe minority who has the Democratic Party in a chokehold, who hate the United States of America and everything we stand for. And I do call it a war because they're weaponizing one element of our system after another, justice system, financial system, media, to advance their objectives. And so I think conservatives need to wake up and say that, you know what, the left has been far ahead for a long time on frontiers that conservatives haven't paid great care to protect, the justice system and the financial system amongst them. But I do think that we're going to have to think over the longer run, not just the short run of this next election, if we're actually going to reclaim one standard of the rule of law in this country, one standard of maximizing value in financial markets and the media while we're at it.
Well, you have to get power. Well, you have to get power back. You have to win elections in order to make changes. So I think this election is absolutely critical to doing that. I want your reaction, Vivek, to what happened today when a mother in Boston was asked about the consequences of what was the political decision made to close a recreation center, which is used by a lot of, at-risk kids and others, to house migrants, and where those kids would end up going. Watch this.
Probably to the streets, where most of them are already at. Like when we look for help, it seems like the state and the governor and them people, they push us away. They want to turn our children to animals. We want better for our community, but this right here is going to be a show.
Well, Vivek, I know a lot of Republicans think, well, there's no point in trying to go after some of these voting blocks of people who have been traditionally Democrats. I completely disagree with that. I think African Americans, many of them, seem to be looking around and saying, wait a second, this is not what I bargained for.
Absolutely. And in fact, in my campaign, I did buck the advice of my consultants to go to the south side of Chicago, to go to the inner city of Philadelphia and Kensington. And what I saw, Laura, was widespread agreement on what are America First principles. Forget Republican versus Democrat, but the idea that we should use our own resources in this country to
Exactly. Forget Republican or Democrat. America First. America First means every single citizen. You need to start putting your interests and the interests of your country first. Don't rely on these politicians because they're doing themselves first policies.
Protect our own border when they're converting South Shore High School in the south side of Chicago to an encampment for migrants at $7,000 per migrant per month. That's offensive regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat or black or white. And so I do see an opportunity, to your point about the importance of winning this election. Not only can we win this election, I think we can win this in a landslide.
Now, Vivek mentioned 7,000 per person per month. I've heard up to 10,000 per person per month. Now, my cost of living is nowhere near that. What are these people living on? And I'm not sure if that includes free healthcare, because I know that they're getting free healthcare, which is ridiculous, because if you're a citizen, you don't even get free healthcare.
Of a historic margin, like Reagan did for the second term in 1984, I think Trump can for his second term in 2024, to say that, you know what, you're going to bring along a multi-ethnic working class coalition, man, woman, black, white, Democrat, and even Republican, independents alike, to say that a nation has borders. America first means all Americans, not just the ones who agree with us on every other issue. And I think if we approach this that way, we're going to have, I think, a historic landslide this November that, dare I say it, could unite this country. But it's up to us to step up and seize it, not just to hide from that, as I think the Republican Party has been prone to do for a long time. We have to show up. And I think that's the first step.
Yeah,
and if we do, we'll be rewarded.
Vivek, I think not accepting the political narrative of the left as gospel, and, you know, a lot of times Republicans will shrink the second they're attacked by the left. And PBS just did that documentary exposing what was really going on with how the January 6th, production was created in the committee looking into January 6th. Watch this.
The one thing that we knew was the information that we have is compelling. The thing we needed to do was tell that to the American people in a compelling way. So that's why we brought in a former president of ABC News.
They wanted a storyteller. And while they were brilliant lawyers, storytelling for a mass audience is not what they do.
They admit they brought in a, quote, storyteller. Yeah.
It's straight out of George Orwell's playbook is the reality. As George Orwell will be rolling over in his grave to see them selecting figures from the media, they realize that's actually more powerful. Even though they're controlling levers of power in D.C., the thing they cared most about, Laura, was the narrative that they wanted to drive. Not just the selective disclosure of the facts of what didn't or didn't happen that day, but the spin they put on it for the public to consume. But it's up to us now, Laura, not just to point to that problem and say, hey, it's a top-down issue. I think part of the problem is we as a people also have become sheep. And I think it's up to every American across the board to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we're not going to swallow what we are force-fed. A nation of sheep does breed a government of wolves. And so, yes, it is the job of political leaders to fix that government. But I think it's also the job of everybody who's watching this program right now, every citizen at home, to look themselves in the mirror and say, how do we not swallow what we're force-fed either? And it's going to take both of those things to get this country back.
So Vivek's right. America first is not Democrat or Republican. It's Americans first. It's you people out there coming together as one. 330 million people. Now, if you are sick of these left lunatic policies, you need to make a decision for yourself. Are you going to carry on supporting these lunatics? Look what they're doing to your streets. Look what they're doing to your dollars. Look what they're doing to the cost of living. They don't give a damn about you. They're busy lining their own pockets and scratching each other's backs. Now, I reckon these clowns should be chucked in locked up, chucked in a train, and sent south in a quick hurry. They do not deserve to be there, and they're sticking the middle finger up to you. And you do not deserve to have these type of people roaming your streets and sucking up all your resources. It infuriates me because people work hard and they genuinely want to help people out. But this is what happens when you help people out that don't deserve it. They don't come through the front door. They don't do the hard yards. They don't have that appreciation for that opportunity that you're giving them. They take the handouts. Maybe the first one, they're like, oh, thank you so much. Second one, can't we get more? Third one, just hurry up and give it to me. That's the way it works, folks. Now, I sound a little frustrated, but I tell you right now, the people that are actually living this day to day, I feel for them. Now, if you've supported these lefty lunatic policies, let me know in the comments. Stand by them and tell me what you think. And what's the agenda of the Biden government? Are they wanting free, cheap votes? Are they wanting to make the country go broke? Let me know in the comments. And once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to help a brother out, don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Help us get to the 1000 sub club, and I'll catch you in the next video.